Hi, कैसे आप सब? Welcome back to my YouTube channel SAS with Vikas, and today we are going to learn this put and input function. There is a very small topic in the SAS content, and today we'll learn that what is the put and input function and how it's going to use that and why we are using this thing. All we will learn today in this full session, like what is the thing, how we are doing this, and before moving forward, let's revise the thing like what we had discussed in the last lesson. We had discussed that pdb, the very important topic of the SAS based syllabus, that very important. Once you are creating in data set, how the thing is going on by in the backside of the screen, what are the compilation phases, what are the execution phases, what are the complete process, data step processing, what is the input buffer, what is the pdb, and how the execution phase is executed. Like all the thing you need to know, you need to practice all thing with the data set, with the example, you need to explain that thing while if someone asking in interview. So in today video, we are going to start this put and input function. So let's start this, like what is this, how is this, and why is this. So first, as we use that, that is our favorite data that's we created in the date variable, and I'm using the same data set just to explain and learn this put and input function. So I no need to discuss more about this data set as we are creating this data set employment one and giving the storing this variable ID, name, sex, and date observing. So that adds it is a date function, date variable. That's why we have to use in format to tell the SAS that this variable is written in this syntax proper format, and format to display that variable in this way, like in this format, just display that variable. And cards just give you storing the values of the variable and run to end of this data set. So this is about the complete data set information, and once you run this data set, you will get the variable and the values that of the rows and the column of that data set, that id, name, sex, and date of joining. So you can see that we are running already that data set, and today we are going to learn this put and input function. What are the put and input function in the SAS? So basically, put is a function which is used to change the attribute of the variable. Once you have the variable in the numeric data types, then you can change that variable attribute into the character data types. That is the very important. Like once you are interested to change the attribute of the variable, then you can change with the help of put and input. So, what are the input and what are the put? How we are going to use that and why we are going to use that? Let's understand all the thing with the this example. Here I am creating this data just because I want to create this data emp3, and calling with the set statement of the emp1 data set, and using this put function with the variable data of joining, and I'm using this the format of that one, like in which format I had written that one. So I'm giving this format and storing this variable of the function in the data joining character. So what is the put? You can see that once you run that data set, we can see that data joining variable is in numeric data types. You can see here the data type will be in the numeric. So, but we are not interested for the numeric one. We are interested for the character data types. So we can change that attribute of the variable with the help of put. So put is basically used to change the from numeric data type variable to character data type variable. This is the proper syntax for changing the numeric to character with the help of put. Similarly, you can see that uh, let's understand this first. After running this one, we can see that what is this, like all the thing. So once we run this data set, you will see that the variable date of joining is changed. The attribute of this variable, types of this variable changed to the character one. So we are getting now variable date of joining. We are getting changing the variable name is date of joining character. That's why you can see that the variable is changed to the now character one. With the help of numeric, that is the with the help of put function, the numeric data types variable is changed to the character data types. The whole thing changed with that the put function. Similarly, if you interested for that, like if you want to change that attribute of that from character to numeric again, that is also possible. Suppose now you are interested to change the character to numeric data types. So that is also possible with the help of input function. So with the help of input function, you have to use this variable, like for which variable you want to change that, for which that character variable you want to change that into numeric one. So I'm using this. This is the character variable types. I want to change this the character variable types into the numeric one with the help of this input function. So I'm using here the in format of that one. Like what is the in format of that variable? You have to use that. Again, I have to use this format. Like once you not using this format, then the SAS is not display that variable in that format. Let's understand this by running this without after commenting this for data set. So once you use that data set, like to change the attribute of the variable from numeric to data, numeric data types to the character one, you have to use that one, and from the character to numeric, you have to use that. But here you are using this in format. The one thing you need to important, like with the input we are using in format, with the put we are using format. So we are getting the data in the number. So as we discuss in the while the data step creation for the date variable, SAS always read the date value in the number. So to display that variable, have to use this format. So that's why here I'm using this format for this variable, and with this format of this variable we can get that values. You'll see that you can see that after using this format. 1 minute. After using this format, we are getting the variable. 1 minute. After running this with the using a format, we are getting the result in the date format, like date. So this is about the input and put. Like put function is used to change the attributes, the variable types from numeric to character, and input function is used to change the variable attributes, the types of the variable from character to numeric. One thing have to remember always, like with the put function we need to use the format, and with the input function we need to use in format. And again for the display that variable in the screen in the SAS window, we need to use the format of that variable. That is very very important. So this is about what is this and how we are going to this, like what is this input and what is the put function, how we are going to do this one, how what are the syntax for that we learn this. Again the question is why we are doing this thing. uh, so for understanding this thing, like why we are doing this, why we are using this put and input function, what are the use of that thing. In general, once you are working for the any business organization, you are solving any business problem, then at time the sponsors told you, like we don't want this variable, this both variable in this two variable, we want this two variable in single variable with that name combined like that. So we have to change that, like we can't combine the character data type variable and numeric data type variable in a common way. There should be a proper way, like we need to change the attribute of the variable. Suppose this is the numeric variable id and this is the numeric variable date of joining, so we can combine this directly with the use of concatenation function. But once you have to combine this numeric data type variable and the character data type variable, that is not possible by normally. That for that you need to change the attribute of the variable, that is you have to change either in the numeric one or either in the character one. Both are possible with the put and input function. As per your convenience you can change that, but in general we are looking for that the character ones. That's why Let's take an example for better understanding. While making the report, this is very important. You need to do that thing. Once you have to combine the variable, once you have to make the report of that variable in the one single page, then that time you need to use this put input function. In general, if you're reading any book, and you will see that there is like a combination of date and the numeric and the character data types. So that is only possible if you are changing the attributes of that data types. That is not possible without the changing of data. You can't combine the numeric data types and the character data types. That is only possible once you change the attribute of that variable. So this is about why we are learning this put and input. So suppose we want to combine this name variable and date of joining variable. So that is only possible once you change this attribute. Once you change this attribute to the character one, from numeric to the character one. So you can combine that. Now you can combine this name and the date of joining character variable. So that is all possible. Once you combine that only with the name and date of joining DOZ, that is not possible. You have to first change the attribute of that variable, then you can use combination, that is concatenation function. So you will see that that is also possible with this variable after changing the attributes. So you can see with the common delimiter we can combine all the things just as per the response from the sponsorship, that business problem. So this is about this put and input function. Just learn this thing. This is very important. The small typing just have to practice twice to three times, and you will learn this whole thing. But this is very important while you making project, while you combining the two different type attributes, variable types. Like so, that's all for today. Thank you so much.